Today I'm reviewing the Flathead Audio FH01 Flathead earbuds. Interesting. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews, and yeah, this is a budget pair of earbuds. The price is just $35. Now, this is a new startup brand, as far as I know, hailing from Australia, my personal stomping ground. But yeah, that's what they look like, those classic MX500 shells. They are, this I should say, is included with the earbuds. You get a nice little carrying case. Inside of there are like 3 pairs of foam covers and 3 pairs of donut foam covers. I like to wear my earbuds naked most of the time, and I do also with these ones here. Not only that, but they came with this hat. Now, I don't know how many orders will come with the hat. I do know, wait, before I say that, these are limited to 1,000 units. So once those 1,000 are gone, they're gone. So yeah, keep that in mind. Now, the first, I don't know how many, maybe all of the orders, all of the 1,000, or it might only be 200, I don't recall, come with a free hat. And I didn't notice at first, but see on the top here, how it's fenestrated like that. That's actually the same pattern as the front of the earbuds. How cool is that? Nice little touch, nice little detail. So for $35, you're getting the hat, you get the earbuds, you get the case. That's already looking pretty good. But so if you're an earbud enthusiast, you will almost certainly know or be familiar with the MX500 shells. These are a classic. They've been around for years and years. Heaps and heaps of models have used them. And yeah, so you'll know if you've used these before whether they're comfortable in your ears or not. For me, super comfortable. I could wear these all day long, and I wore them for about half a day today non-stop. So inside of here, we've got a large 15.4 millimeter beryllium coated diaphragm. Yeah, that's right, beryllium coated dynamic driver for a $35 IEM. It's crazy. Now, in my experience, look, most earbuds fall into one of two camps. In the first, they're overly warm and thick, and they have a bloated bass. That is many earbuds, flathead earbuds, especially the budget ones. The second group, I would say, are the ones that sort of try to prioritize vocal clarity or clarity in general, and they often end up shouty in the upper mid-range. And that tends to happen quite a lot with these flathead earbuds. These ones, the FH01, falls into neither of those groups. I would say this one has a clean and a musical presentation. It doesn't try to impress with a really fat, big bass or super hyper defined detail. But what it does do has a nice balanced and natural sound with a neutral note weight and a crisp, smooth treble. For the bass, it's got a nice tight bass, it's got well-defined bass and good extension in the lows. Sub-bass notes do have a bit of rumble, but it's a very controlled, authoritative rumble. It's got a slightly forward bass tone, but the bass does not in any way smother the mid-range. The mid-bass is nice and punchy and it's impactful, but there's still plenty of room for vocals to come through the mix nice and cleanly. I really like the way that the dynamic driver performs in the FH01. It's nice and nimble, it's quick, it's got a nice solid slam in the bass and a snappy but a natural decay. And then in the mid-range, this is a fairly mid-forward sounding earbud, so fairly mid-centric. It's got even with that enthusiastic underlying bass, the mid-range and vocals in particular are nice and forward. It's got good separation, which keeps things tidy, and it stops the mix from sounding congested for the most part. Instruments and vocals have a nice natural warmth, but they still retain plenty of clarity. you don't have overly thick notes in the mid-range like a lot of earbuds do, nor do you have those super shouty upper mids. And then in terms of treble, the treble sits just slightly behind the mids and the bass. It plays more of a supporting role, which is usually the case. Like most earbuds tend to have a fairly laid back treble, but these aren't. The treble here is not overly rolled off. It adds highlights and it adds a bit of air, but it doesn't draw too much attention to itself. There is a bit of a peak in the upper treble, probably like 7 to 8 kilohertz area, and that adds some brightness up top, especially to certain instruments like the upper registers of a piano. But despite that, it stays clear of any sibilance. And let's now talk about the soundstage and technicalities. If you know earbuds, you know the soundstage is wide on these, as you'd expect from Flathead earbuds, thanks to that open design, especially if you wear them without the foams. But what's more surprising is the excellent left to right stereo imaging. Like if you have sounds that are moving back and forth left to right within the track or the recording, it's really vividly pictured with these earbuds, and it's quite exciting to listen to. So imaging is pretty good, but particularly left to right stereo imaging, which highlights instrument placement within the soundstage. Like I said before, instrument separation is generally good, though it can get a bit the drivers can get a bit overwhelmed during more complex passages. Well, not necessarily the drivers, but just the earbuds in general. It might just be a matter of the acoustic chamber or the acrylic shells. Okay, let's do only one comparison today. This is the NiceHCK V80 earbuds that I reviewed just a few days ago. These are around the same price, $35. By the way, I didn't mention the cable on the FH01. It looks a bit thin, but it's really well done. It's a braided cable, as you can see, red and blue, as you can see, but it handles nicely. There's zero microphonics, and it feels really robust and sturdy. Now, the cable on the B80 is also very nice. It's a different type, obviously. Both of these cables, by the way, are non-detachable. So the B80, definitely thicker. It's got a stronger emphasis on the bass, both in the sub bass and the mid bass, which gives it a warmer and a thicker presentation with more bass impact. But that also tends to, the bass that is, also tends to compete with the mid-range for attention. So the mids are slightly buried under the bass on the B80 here. But those mids are super rich and saturated with a thick note size. So they're really, male vocals are really powerful on the B80, whereas on the FH01, they're much more articulate. And the treble on the B80 is pretty laid back. It's a softened treble, gives the B80 overall a darker tonality. That is the softened treble in combination with the emphasized bass. It has a dark sound signature compared to the FH01, which is brighter, but not bright, but it does sound a lot cleaner and sort of more high fidelity, if you will. Anyway, that is the Flathead Audio FH01 earbuds. Look, if you're an earbud fan, or even if you haven't tried them before and you're thinking about trying them, get these now. I haven't enjoyed a budget earbud like this since the original VE Monk. Some of you might remember that. I've still got it. I should have dug it out for this review, but yeah, the VE Monk was legendary. I think this earbud is going to go down as it's going to be legendary itself because it just sounds that good. And for $35, that's pretty impressive. All right, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Pa Family Audiophile style. And if you're new here and you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, go ahead and do it now. And until next time, I'll see you later.